Wright and Donald Vandevart in compliance with the State Government Ethics Act, Chapter 138A, Section 15E of the North Carolina General Statutes. I remind members of the commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire as to whether any member of the commission has any known conflict of interest with respect to any matters coming before the commission this morning. Do we have any conflicts? None? None. Hearing none, let the record reflect that no conflicts have been identified. Before we begin, I ask the presenters for the public staff and applicants to introduce themselves for the recording when presenting their item. Consistent with today's staff conference amended agenda and issued in docket number M1 sub 4 on November 13th, 2025. We will proceed with item 1.
Good morning, Commission. I'm Evan Lawrence with the Public Staff's Energy Division, and we'll be presenting items 1 and 2 today.
Good morning, Tucker Pridgeon, Siting Manager at Duke Energy.
Thank you.
Item number 1 is an application by Duke Energy Progress for approval of a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity to construct approximately 453 feet of 230 kV transmission line in Chatham County, North Carolina. The application is accompanied by a motion for waiver of notice and hearing requirements. The public staff has reviewed the application, recommends the commission issue the certificate, and grant the motion for waiver and notices of hearing is filed.
Okay.
Move approval.
Move approval. Second. All right. Before we move forward, are there any questions? Okay. It appears that there are no additional questions or discussion. Those in favor to indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Item 2 is an application by Duke Energy Progress for approval of a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity to construct approximately 3,940 feet of 230 kV transmission line in Sampson County, North Carolina. The application is accompanied by a motion for waiver of notice and hearing requirements. The public staff has reviewed the application, recommends the commission issue the certificate, and grant the motion for waiver of notice and hearing as filed.
Okay.
Move approval of item number 2 is recommended by the public staff.
We have a motion for approval. We hear a second.
Second.
Okay. Before we vote, are there any questions from either commissioners? I just have one. The tap lines on the property of Montauk.
It is on property of Montauk, as well as will be within existing right-of-way for Duke Energy Progress, and the company has obtained right-of-way from 2 other customers.
Yeah, I had visited the site, so it is Duke Energy Progress and not a co-op that's connecting.
That is correct.
Okay, very well. Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Are there any additional questions? If not, it appears that we have no additional questions. Those in favor, please by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
My name is David Williamson, and I'm an engineer with the Public Staff's Energy Division. And with me today is Tim Duff from the company. I'll let him introduce himself.
My name is Tim Duff. I work in our Customer Solutions Regulatory Enablement Group, representing Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress today.
Okay.
Item 3 contains requests by both Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress for approval to modify their power share non-residential load curtailment program. The requests are identical for both DEC and DEP, and the public staff has reviewed the requests and request for approval and the associated tariffs that were filed on September 15th, 2025, and recommends approval of these modifications as filed.
Okay, thank you.
Move approval of item number 3 is recommended by the public staff.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
All right. Are there any questions? I have one. Mr. Duffs, explain to me what this does and how it just has an earthly impact on our power share and energy load. You hear from some people that DSME programs, power shares, virtual power, this, that, and the other. A lot of them don't achieve what they are purposed for. Would you state that about this or give us confidence that what we're passing now is, give me the cliff notes, in other words?
Sure, this is an enhancement that was put together with a lot of customer input, stakeholder feedback regarding the program design of PowerShare, which is a contractual DSM program for large non-residential customers. And what we heard from the customers and from stakeholders was that there weren't a lot of options with respect to the notification period that the company had to give the customer before they would need to curtail. And so working with the customers, what we did was we created, instead of the standard applies to all 30-minute notification window, we created a 10-minute notification window, as well as a 120-minute notification window, and appropriately increased the incentive for a shorter notification because it takes more for the customer to do it, and decreased the incentive for the longer notification window because there's a little less responsiveness to the system needs with a longer notification window. So it was really designed to give customers more ability to pick what type of a notification works for them to take their curtailment actions. We also added an opportunity for them to install actual firm control that would allow them to control and reduce the load with Duke's help versus just having them have a contract that says they have to curtail and doing all of the actions versus having it be automated. So we think that both of these options actually should attract more participation and potentially give customers that are already participating with that 30-minute notification window a more attractive opportunity to participate so that we can do the main goal of the program, which is maintain the capability to have these customers curtail and reduce peak during system need.
Okay, very well. Thank you for that explanation. Yeah, I've heard the number 160 large non-residential load customers were kind of the amount of people that were participating in the opt-in, opt-out program, which I guess this is the same, right? Opt-in or opt-out?
It is one of our non-residential programs that the customers can opt in and opt out of. This is new to DEP. We've moved to try and get more participation in the DEP program by kind of taking this more flexible platform that's PowerShare versus the old commercial industrial government demand response automation program, which was really summer focused.
Next question is coming from an old sales guy here, and I believe there's no substitute for the sales call. In those prior discussions, there was concern that Duke was not going out eyeball to eyeball, handshake to handshake, explaining this to different customers, so there was no real push. Now you're offering additional flexibility for them. You know, it's difficult for the public and or me to understand all the ins and outs of the program. What does Duke plan to do with these large non-residential load customers? Do you guys plan to have a face-to-face visit with each one of them, or is this going to be another one of those mailer, email kind of touches?
So we plan to leverage our large account management group to have those detailed conversations to make sure that they're aware of these options. There's a number of changes that have gone on in the DSM suite of program options. And so we're really relying on that kind of face-to-face large account management relationship. We also have a group that is business energy advisors, which are really, really in the details and are trying to help customers during these opt-in windows, which DEC's window opened up November 1st and goes till the end of the year, to really help them understand the potential costs of participating or opting in, as well as these different options that would allow them to curtail and potentially see economic benefit from those credits on their bills.
Oftentimes we approve this and then they go off into Never Land, will you report back how many existing customers that you have that are in this program to Mr. Williams or public staff, whichever vehicle you wish to use? We report back to how many you have, and then in this time period of addition to them with the face-to-face calls, if you will, tell us how many more you gain so we at least know something that we've approved is having some sort of impact on the power share program and reduction when we need it, in times of high load. So if you would,
Yeah.
you would do that?
Yeah, we can make sure it's included in the company's annual rider filings next year. We usually give a highlight on opt-out, but in the testimony, we'll make sure that we highlight how these modifications have affected the power share enrollments.
Well, my question is when does the period end for enrollment?
So it's going to be tough right now for DEC because the window for opt-in, opt-out opened up November 1st and it ends in December. So it's tough because we haven't been telling these customers about these programs yet since
Exactly.
they haven't been approved. But there is a window the first week of March for opt-in only for DEC customers. So we believe that we can try and get that window as a way to have customers more exposed to this program and affect their decision to opt in. Unfortunately, that would be after the DEC rider filing is made. However, we can give you an update on what we're able to accomplish during these last 6 weeks of the year in DEC. For DEP customers, DEP doesn't have an opt-out, opt-in window. So we can actually report that out as soon as a customer decides to opt in that was previously opted out in next year's rider filing, which will be made in June.
How about the carbon plan as well? The
Uh,
report on that as well?
We can give a highlight in that in the carbon
Yeah,
plan.
I mean, I just, I don't want it to go away. I want to see how effective whatever we're approving is, and I never hear the follow-up.
Yep.
Or see the follow-up, if you will, and you may have printed it. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying I don't ever receive anything to show me that 160 customers that were already opted in
Yeah.
has grown any at all in the last 2 years. So, I just want the report filed and, either in March, aside to Mr. Williams and public staff, or that we can get it in the carbon plan as
Yep.
well, okay?
Yep, we'll make sure that it's in
All right.
front of the commission.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, commissioners? Hear a motion? We did the motion. Yeah, okay. A second? That was the second. Any further questions? All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
So,
Got the next one?
yes. Item 4 is a joint request by Duke Energy Carolinas and Duke Energy Progress for approval to modify their My Energy Bill Plus pilot programs. This request is being made to clarify certain aspects of the pilot prior to its official launch, as well as to update the name of the pilot officially to Your Fixed Bill. The public staff has reviewed the request and the updated tariffs that were filed on October 3rd, 2025, and recommends approval as filed.
Okay,
Motion to approve item number 4 is recommended by the public staff.
okay, motion to approve. Second. Questions? This is another one of those programs that, gets buried, I think, in what needs to be done. But the thing of interest here for me is that on the bill, there's going to be an additional charge for storm securitization. Is that correct?
So I don't know if it's more of a clarification of adding that line item in because of the statute that requires it to be separately
Right.
identified. Before it was assumed in and Mr. Duff can correct me on this, but before it was rolled into the flat rate amount that was originally being billed to those customers. And so now it's just pulling that amount out to kind of itemize that specific charge.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what I thought, just so that people can see it. I think, honestly, you got to recover the monies that you spent getting the mountains back up. And I think pulling it out and letting people know the amount of expense that Duke had to go to get power back on through a line item on the bill is a good thing. Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Jay Lucas with the Public Staff's Energy Division.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is Grace Stiers. I am outside regulatory counsel for Appalachian State University, doing business as New River Light and Power. Was involved in the RER Rider program when it was implemented back in 2021. So I've got a little more background about the history and purpose of the program if there are questions in that regard.
Yeah.
And I have with me Mr. Matt McDeb. Mr. McDeb is the general manager, the chief operating officer of New River Light and Power. And he's here also to answer questions if you have any about today's agenda item.
Okay.
Item 5 is a request by New River Light and Power to modify its renewable energy rider. The existing rider has a fixed cost of $5 per block with an initial block size of 250 kilowatt hours of renewable energy. New River can change the block size each year depending on costs. New River requests that the commission allow it to fix the block size at 250 kilowatt hours and allow the price per 250 kilowatt hour block change each year depending on costs. The public staff recommends that the commission approve New River's request to modify its renewable energy rider.
Motion to approve item number 5 is recommended by the public staff.
Second. Second. All right, we have a motion and approval and second. Any questions? All those in favor by saying aye? Aye. Yeah, okay. All right, let me back up a minute. Commissioner Kimwright, who has a great deal more experience at this than I do, reminded me that we do have questions. Commission staff has reviewed the proposed order and has 4 questions regarding this matter. Number 1, and whomever on the panel can answer this, do you have an expected block cost that you can share or a general estimate compared to the current $5 fee?
The actual fees will be determined by what we buy hydropower, and the fee would be the premium that we pay between our wholesale price and the hydropower that we purchase off market. So that's going to vary from year to year, and we don't have a firm determination of the upper or lower bounds of that.
Okay.
Based upon forward cost of natural gas and the current market for renewable energy, we're not expecting any significant spike or increase. But it's hard to know because, there's both the cost of the renewable energy and natural gas can fluctuate, and that gets trued up in the PPA proceeding each year that the commission approves.
Can you have do you gentlemen have an estimate range from $5 to X? What is it?
Based upon current forward curves and costs, we would not anticipate that the X would be much greater than $7 and probably coming in closer to $6 at this point. Again, if I knew the answer to that with precision, I probably wouldn't be practicing law. But that's the best estimate we have right now, subject to what the market's
Well,
decide.
that's fair enough explanation. We can move forward on a timely basis so we can keep your billable time down. Number 2, did NRLP or public staff consider attaching a maximum block cost to this proposal? And can you speak to the volatility expected in the pricing, which you've already done? And do you anticipate there will be any seasonably pricing in, for one season or another? Would it be higher in the winter, lower in the summer? Can you answer that, gentlemen, or I'll repeat it?
Yeah, we're setting the price on a yearly basis. So coincident with our PPA filing is when we would set that rate, and that would be based on the previous 12 months.
And the
Okay.
benefits of the program, quite frankly, is the amendment is to be able to enter into longer term PPAs that
Right.
would stabilize the price. We think that that's one of the benefits, and the challenges we've had right now is not knowing the quantity year to year and only entering into short-term contracts, which tend to be more volatile than the long term.
Okay, and one additional question, have you discussed these modifications with the current participants in the rider? Specifically, the three primary customers you mentioned, Appalachian State University, the town of Boone, and Watauga County, and do you still anticipate their participation?
Yes, I've spoken to all three of the large customers in the program, and they're willing to continue on in participation even with
Okay.
this change.
All right, that's all the questions I have. We had the motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor by saying aye? All right, aye. This passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you.
Item number 6, I guess. See, I've got the old sheet. It's had the first two, so it gets me. All right,
Good morning.
good
My name
morning.
is Jesse Dongera, engineer with the Public Staff, Water, Sewer, Transportation, and Telephone Division.
I'm Ruffin Poole. I'm the Director of Development and Regulatory Affairs for Aqua, North Carolina.
If it's okay with the commission, I'll be presenting items number 6 and 7 together today.
Okay,
In docket number W218, subs 623 and 635, Aqua filed notifications of intention to begin operation in an area contiguous to a present service area to provide water utility service to service areas in Wake County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed the notifications and recommends the commission issue the proposed orders, recognizing the contiguous extensions and approving rates.
Move approval of items 6 and 7 is recommended by the public staff.
second. Second. All right, we have approval and second. Questions from commissioners? I guess in both of these, I think 3 words in all these that we're going to take a look at is we're currently serving them, and then it's contiguous. So those 2 things opted there. We've got a motion, and there's no additional questions, I assume. All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Poole. Item 8. All right, you may begin.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Sashi Bhatta, engineer with the Public Staff, Water, Sewer, Transportation, and Telephone Division.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Higgins with Burns Day and Presnell Counsel for Plurus Hampstead.
If the Commission will allow, I would like to present items number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 together.
Okay.
These are dockets number W1305, subs 46, 48, 50, 53, and 54 respectively. Plurus Hampstead filed applications for Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity to provide sewer utility service to these service areas in Pender County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed the applications and recommends that the commission issue the proposed orders granting franchise, approving rates, excusing filing of testimony, canceling expert witness hearing, and requiring customer notice.
Okay, thank you.
Move approval of items 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 as recommended by the public staff.
Second. A motion and for approval and a second. Questions? What is? You have one question? Oh, I do? Where is that one? Item 10? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Leaf and Darrow, sub 50.
I don't see, what's she talking about? Huh? Yeah. George, I don't see a question in here. I know it's been revised, but I don't see one. Yes, you may approach. All right. Whomever on the panel, question here from commission staff. This CPCN application, along with several others presented today, list the completion dates for wastewater connection in 2021 and 2022. Could you explain why the CPCN applications are being filed in 2025, although the projects were completed in 21 and in 22?
I'd be glad to answer that, Commissioner Tucker. There was some staff turnover at Plurus Hampstead, and the former employee that was managing this, at least this part of that aspect of their operations, these were not filed on a timely basis. And subsequent personnel realized that there were a couple of things that had fallen through the cracks. And so they moved to address those issues and get the applications filed. And
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. I appreciate that explanation. And you as counsel weren't involved to prompt them to file them?
no, sir, no.
You weren't their counsel at that time?
I was their counsel, but I wasn't aware that this situation existed. They file these applications themselves. In other words, I don't file the applications for them.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering if you were tracking what they were doing, and they came out in 20 and 21, and here we are 3 years later. They don't have that much discussion with you or counsel with you, or you don't have an opportunity to review what the statutes say and what they're doing?
I do know what the statute says, but I'm not kept aware of particular developments as they come online. That is, as they're completed. This and several of these others are literally a one building, a storage facility or a pet, a veterinary or something like that. So I'm not kept apprised of that level of detail that this project is about to come online or that project has been approved by DEQ. So.
Okay, would you note in the future to be apprised or check with them so that, we don't have a 3-year wait, sir?
Yes, sir. And we have met with the public staff and implemented process that is, as you'll see by the volume of filings that are coming through, that the company is very much on top of this.
So prevent it from happening in the future for the most part?
Yes, sir.
Public staff satisfied with that?
That is correct, sir. We've had meetings with Plurus to discuss this issue,
Okay.
and they will address it.
Okay. Well, we have a motion to approve, a second, and no additional questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
And aye. Aye. Unanimous, approved. Thank you. Okay, the next ones?
Again, I have items number 13, 14, and 15, and if the commissioner would allow, I would like to present those together.
Very well.
These are dockets number W1305 subs 47, 49, and 52 respectively. Plurus Hampstead filed notifications of intention to begin operations in an area contiguous to a present service area to provide sewer utility service to service areas in Pender County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed the notifications and recommends that the commission issue the proposed orders, recognizing the contiguous extensions and approving the rates.
Okay, could you repeat those numbers, please, the subs?
Those are subs 47, 49, and 52.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Move approval of items 13, 14, and 15 as recommended by the public staff, subject to minor substantive edits made by commission staff.
okay. Second? All right, I have no questions. Any questions from commissioners? All those in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. And nobody's opposed, all unanimous. Thank you. It's approval.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you.
Anything else? We do have minutes to approve. Do that before that. Okay. All right, we have now before us minutes for Monday, October 27th, 2025, staff conference, and Monday, November 3rd, 2025, staff conference for approval. Could I have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right. Nobody's opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Is there any additional business here this morning for the commission? Hearing none, we're adjourned.